I am super thrilled to have one of my favorite people in Chicago, Candace Jordan, in our Viking test kitchen. Candace, you don't even know. I mean, we have a friendship, but we're also in a relationship, basically.
Yes, we definitely are.
You know, she is one of my favorite people in Chicago, a real rose in the onion field, if you will. I love what you do here. You're such an amazing philanthropist, and such a great addition to Chicago. But also, you have a great recipe. Can you tell me a little bit about how this recipe changed your life, who it's from?
Yes, I would love to.
And the story behind this dish.
First of all, I want to say I'm a huge fangirl of yours, Jaime, so you got nothing over saying that about me.
Great.
Your Instagram feed just makes me quiver. So anyway,
Yes.
this is a recipe, and you know, it's a very simple recipe, and I know you've tried to talk me into adding more ingredients because you're kind of a fancy guy.
I am. I'm like unlike Coco Chanel. Like take one thing off, isn't that it? I might add two more things.
Yeah, two more things. No, this recipe comes down from my mama Mary Johnson, who was born in 1903 in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Don't we have Mary's picture?
Yeah, we have Mary on her 90th birthday. And this is Mary and her husband, Jim Johnson, at their garden in East Carondelet, Illinois.
Wow.
And they raised, I told Jamie and Margaret earlier that they raised all the things that they raised in their garden, they shared half of that with their community because it was a rather poor community. And Mary, they were both deacons of the church. Mary's a mother of the church, and Jim was a deacon. So they had a very giving philosophy.
And where exactly again were they from?
Mary was from Tupelo, Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Yeah, and Jim was from somewhere around there too.
So what you should know, and you probably already know this, is that Viking is from Greenwood, Mississippi.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Viking has their whole facility and warehousing and manufacturing plant in Greenwood, Mississippi.
Wow, well, I'm sure Mary would have loved to have had one of those ovens. There's no question about it. But anyway, this is her recipe from long ago, and I'm going to be cooking in her Griswold cast iron skillet, and it's about 80 years old, I figured, because it's the markings on the bottom. I checked it before I came just so I could share that.
Wow.
But it's really an heirloom, and I use it all the time. And I thought to myself coming over here, I can't imagine, there must have been 1 million pieces of chicken fried in this cooker.
That's crazy. And I have certain things from, my grandmother was a fabulous cook, Candace. She was you would have loved her. She was a diva. I had two, obviously, grandmothers. One of them was more like the Italian side grandmother that in the house dressed in the slippers, and the other one had her nails painted and her, like, you know, she had her hair, she would have nail polish on and the house apron. She was a diva. And I have her ricer, and I have a potato peeler that I use often. And it's these types of things bring people back.
Oh, it's priceless memories. And you know, this is not a healthy recipe, obviously. It's going to be made with Crisco, but you know, I don't have it every day. but when I do cook it, it feeds my soul.
Absolutely.
So
I'm glad you said it. When you recreate or bring your family members back to life with food, it satiates and feeds a memory, a food memory, and a spirit bringing and evoking happiness and joy of a fond memory. I love bringing my grandmother back in the kitchen, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing here today.
And that might be healthier than health foods. Who knows in the long run?
I think we got something here. I think we've
you.
got something here, Candace. So this doesn't look like much. I mean,
no, this is very simple, and this strikes me thinking back that Mary was very, very smart because she made it very simple. You know, she cooked for the YWCA and the YMCA, and she did fried chicken for like thousands and thousands of people. And I remember her chuckling to me that they would stand in line and fight each other to get to this chicken. So like I said, it's a very, very simple recipe, very easy. It just requires flour, salt, and pepper, and Crisco. So that's it.
To me, it's like some of the simplest recipes in the world are only a few ingredients.
Right.
And I got to tell you, the chef in me loves the simplicity of this dish, and I'm sure it's fantastic, but I want to throw in some other things.
What would you throw in? I mean, if you were going to do this,
here we go.
I know you're going to dial this all up in your mind.
I'm not going to change a thing, Candace.
No.
I would do maybe a little bit garlic powder.
Yeah.
Now, if I really want to take you there, probably some curry, a little bit of ginger, chili.
You lost me at curry.
I did. See, she's gone.
No.
And then maybe some fresh thyme in the batter.
Yeah.
But I respect the simplicity of this. Salt and pepper.
Yep.
All right.
That's it, you know, and I looked at a lot of other recipes because I was just wondering how Mary's different from everybody else's. And like you said, a lot of people want to put poultry seasoning, they wanted to add garlic powder and all that. And I thought, oh, I could do that, but I'm going to stay true to exactly what she had. Now, the only thing that is not true to what she did, I did want to have an old-fashioned brown paper bag because she shook her chicken and flour in an old-fashioned brown paper bag. So use your imagination. This is an old-fashioned brown paper bag.
Candace, that's a dollar store paper bag. I'm not gonna lie, I got that for $1. But would you serve this with, so flour in the bag, salt and pepper your chicken, easy breezy.
What I would serve this with would be greens. Collard greens and, you know, and mixed together. What's collard greens and what's the other one? There's two that go together. Collard greens and...
Grits?
No.
Cornbread?
No, turnip greens. Yeah.
Oh, turnip
collard
greens.
And turnip
greens.
Okay.
What about like, this to me like has hot sauce written all over it.
So no hot sauce.
No hot sauce?
She never used hot sauce.
So you had nothing, you just straight, I'm so excited.
It.
This is taking me back to like chicken.
Colonel,
basic, Colonel's.
The Colonel had nothing on Mary, I'll tell you right now.
All right.
So here it is, just salt and pepper. Put a couple of these in the flour.
So basically what we're gonna do, this is shake and bake.
Yeah, this is shake and bake. Basically, it is shake and bake. Is that hot enough?
Let's see. Now on our Viking range, this is a Viking 5 Series range, Candace. Yeah. One thing about this range is that it's super accurate. Look at that.
Yeah, that's
it's good. When it comes to control, this looks perfect to me. Does that look right?
Yes, perfect. Oh, I love it. I wish you were all here to eat with us.
Guess what? You can basically do this at home. This is basically something that anyone can do. The only thing you'd have to be careful with is the hot oil, which you are a pro at. So is this going to be crispy and crunchy?
Yes. It's not going to be like Colonel, you know, the Colonel crispy and crunchy, but that's not what we're looking for.
So this ain't KFC, is what you're trying to say?
No. This is something entirely different and better.
So I'm going to do the rest of these later. I'm going to feed the whole crew here, but how long would this be, you know, submerged in oil?
I think they have to cook like 15 minutes or so, don't you think?
Okay.
Yeah, does that sound
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So as far as this recipe is concerned, take me back to what would be, where would you be eating this? How would the table be set?
Yes.
Paint the picture for me.
Well, they had a small little kind of a ramshackle house in East Cronolette, very small rooms, but in the kitchen where she had a Hoosier cabinet that I am so thrilled that I have of hers, and she had, you know, this tiny little stove that she did all this magical cooking on, and then they had this big round wooden table where we would all sit around with the chicken. And, you know, the chicken, and like I said, she'd have greens, she'd have fried green tomatoes, which is another one of my favorites. On other occasions, we'd have navy beans and cornbread.
Oh my God, you're making me so hungry.
She was the most amazing Southern-style cook, and that's my favorite food to eat in the world.
Okay.
And I lost my mind in Savannah, Georgia, because all that cooking was down there.
So our chicken, do you have to turn it?
Well, you do have to turn it, but I don't think it's ready yet.
Oh, okay.
We could be here for days. I don't know.
So what we're going to do, Candace and I are going to talk a lot more about a lot of cooking tips and things like that. But we're going to come back when this chicken is just ready.
Yeah, in about a month.
See you next month, guys. Okay, Candace, well, we are back, and I have to tell you, this whole showroom smells like
chicken.
But the great thing about it is that it's so simple.
It's so simple.
Yet it's so crispy and golden brown.
Yeah.
So this doesnst have to be fancy.
No.
So what would
fancy.
You know what I would serve this with?
Well, yeah, you'd go crazy with it. What would you do?
No, nothing. Just some sparkling, some wine, some Prosecco.
Oh,
Knowing you.
I'm all over that.
You know what I mean?
That's for sure.
So have you ever thought, I mean, look at this, guys. This chicken is so simple and crispy and delicious.
Yes, sure is. Just salt and pepper, flour, and a great fryer. Great cast iron skillet. That's the whole key to success.
You know what? I got to tell you something. I think you're onto something here.
Yeah?
I do, because cooking in a cast iron skillet gives you such a crispy, beautiful result like this.
Yep. How pretty the golden brown.
Isn't that beautiful? And then you're just going to throw this in a brown paper bag. And, you know, did you ever think in your life about opening up a little place that just serves the chicken? We talked about this today.
You know, actually, I have thought about that.
You have thought about it?
Yeah, and, you know, and it's kind of been a dream, but it's in the back of my mind. But talking to you, because you've got so many great ideas. Oh my God, you have so many great ideas. You're like Rain Man.
I am like Brain Man. My head hurts sometimes, Candace.
It does.
But you want to know something? I would wait in line for this chicken.
Aww.
You want to know something? I would, because it's a throwback to the way things used to be.
Yep.
And to me, cooking doesn't have to be fancy.
Yeah.
And Chicago is one of the, it is the most popular food city in the world. Bon Appetit, calls Chicago the number one food city. And I think something like this in any part of the city, I would go anywhere to have this chicken. Bucktown, you go wherever, but so simple and delicious and not a lot of ingredients.
No.
I would take this home and have a night. I would have a night. I think you're onto something.
I love it. I love the idea. Listen, you never know where I'm going to pop up next.
Uh-oh. You heard it here first in the Viking Showroom. But Candace, so this looks beautiful,
this is
crispy.
Beautiful. It's perfect. This is exactly the way I remember it from when Mary would make it and the times I've made it. And like you said, I mean, and I take nothing away from these fancy, beautiful restaurants right in Alinea and places like that. But I crave simpler things. The world is so complicated that mentally I crave simple things, even down to my food choices. And so, I think you're probably right. I mean, if I'm feeling that way, I mean, there's bound to be other people that feel the same. So.
I'm telling you, Chicagoans would line up for a taste of this chicken. I think it would be spectacular. Now, I want to see something. I'm going to grab a fork here because I'm imagining this is going to be tender, crispy, and juicy. So guys, right straight away, look at that crust. It's got a beautiful...
And it's not like a Colonel Sanders double crust, with all that breading and things. It's just coats the chicken nicely. It's not just too much and it's not too little.
Look at that. It's so golden and delicious.
It's going to be very tender and succulent.
Do you mind?
Oh, please.
Girl.
This is good. Yeah, eat the crust with the salt and pepper on it. That's what I want.
Wow.
Isn't it good? Oh, my God.
You tell me. Girl, it's super hot.
Yep.
But all day long. Is that it? The simplest?
Unbelievable.
People here on our Viking.
That is unbelievable.
That is the most delicious, simple recipe I think I've ever had. Candace, thank you so much for sharing this amazing, simple recipe. You guys on the Viking Facebook page have to love that this is so simple and you can do it at home.
Yep.
Just be careful because the oil is hot. Absolutely delicious.
Yep, thank you. I love you.
I love you too. And thank you for coming into our Viking kitchen today and sharing this wonderful recipe.
Thank you.
And good luck to you in your new chicken launch.
Thank you.
I wish we had some Prosecco. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching, guys. And come back and visit us next time when we cook another fabulous recipe with another fabulous person here in the Viking Showroom, Suite 137 at the Merchandise Mart. Thanks for watching.